All right, now yesterday we were coming off the heels of the tariff wars, the trade wars, and right, none of that really materialized, which is great. But we also had this little carrot that was dangled in front of us, which was David Sachs, the crypto AI czar, was going to hold a press conference yesterday, and he did hold that press conference. Oh, dude! Before I do, let me touch on this real quick before that, because that is super important. Definitely want to talk about it. But even more than that, look, exciting the way that this country, the United States, is talking about crypto. Like, again, it's very obvious where this stuff is going, and our commitment, our focus to being the crypto capital of the world. But that doesn't happen with this regulatory environment that we've had here the past many years. It just doesn't, right? OpenSea gets the Wells notice. We had what was that Founders Key project? I'm trying to remember their name, but right, there were Wells notices flying. There were so many projects under investigation, and it was bullshit. It was. Of course, like our friends and family, the Cyberkongs, exact same story. And things are really starting to change. We got these signals from the SEC that change was coming. But man, hey, good morning. Thank you for the Pangu over on Abstract. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. But now we're getting news that the SEC is scaling back their crypto enforcement. Right? We heard that if you wanted to open up any kind of enforcement action on a project, on a platform, on a person, whatever, you have to get approval, and basically from the top. And now more and more, we're getting even more clarification from the SEC. They're scaling back the enforcement efforts here, guys. It's going to be probably the most friendly in crypto environment to build in that we've ever seen. And like we say here, this stuff isn't reflected in prices. I don't think it is. I'm confident it's not. And it's probably actually quite a bit off. This is now going to incentivize people to come here to the States and build and launch your projects and launch your tokens and launch whatever it is you want to build. Go get creative. Go dream up these things. Go build them. And now you don't have to have this hanging over your head. You know, the SEC, you know, looking to just topple anything and everything that's happening here. It's gone. It's gone. So now the building comes here, followed by the price action. Although, you know, funny enough, here in this space, it's usually price action comes before building. So it's like, as I say it out loud, we usually value things a little differently. We like to bid on speculation. But anyway, this is incredible news. And then the more tangible news is right here, guys. Again, David Sachs, his conference yesterday. More talk about this strategic wealth fund or sovereign wealth fund, the strategic reserve. That yesterday we didn't get anything super specific, right? It was more reaffirming these things that we keep hearing. But committing again to this focus of the Bitcoin strategic reserve and saying that's about the first thing that they're going to work on here. And so while that still might be months off, and I would say at the very least it's months off, could be even next year, it's their priority, that Bitcoin strategic reserve. Let's listen to some comments here from that press conference yesterday. Let me get that audio situated. Boom.
So one of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve, and so that is one of the things. That's one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group in the administration. So as soon as we get all that set up, we're still waiting for some cabinet secretaries who are on the working group to get confirmed. So we're still in the very early stages of this. But that's one of the first things we're gonna look at is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve. I think the concept of the sovereign wealth fund is a little separate, and you'd have to talk to Secretary Lutnick.
It's cool. It's what we were thinking. They are two separate things. The sovereign wealth fund, I believe, can probably get started much faster. Strategic reserve is probably a little more involved, but they're both happening. And again, for this group right here, that strategic reserve is just about their first priority. Interesting coming out of that press conference. It's not surprising, but it's the talk about stable coins. And at least for me, and I think a lot of you guys picked up on this as well, when World Liberty Financial, that's the Trump DeFi platform, when they started talking about a stable coin, which was very early in their life, right? They announced very early on that they were going to launch a stable coin, amongst other things on their platform. It became pretty obvious right then how big of a focus that would be. So stablecoin made sense if you're thinking about the Trumps, because just prior to that, guys, we heard about Tether and their tiny team. It's 100 or so employees. It might actually be a little less than 100. And how many billions of dollars they made in revenue just this year. We're talking multiple billions of dollars, again, for just 100 or so employees is massive. I think people like the Trumps smell that opportunity there. again, it became pretty clear with World Liberty Financial and now, talking stable coins. I'm like, okay, that is going to be a focus. It's also a main attack vector. It's also one of my biggest fears about this space. It's where I sense maybe before this administration where a black swan event could come from, stable coins. A lot of people don't know this, but stable coins like USDC specifically, and I think probably Tether too, they can actually burn tokens that you're holding. They can freeze tokens you're holding. It's a little scarier than a lot of people realize. Just putting that out there. Dan, great to see you, man, over on Abstract. So a heads up about that, but ultimately point here is, man, the United States government is now laser focused on building out stable coins, having them I don't want to say backed by the US dollars, but very much tied into the US dollar and getting that really used as a currency across the world in a way that it's not now, which is kind of crazy to say because it's basically a world currency. But these stable coins, there is something coming here in a big way. Will there be fallout, casualties, whatever along this way? Probably. It's just a gut feeling. I don't know. I can't base that in anything, but something tells me there's going to be a battle for stablecoin dominance, and some of these are going to get wrecked along the way. And yes, yeah, exactly. There is a big element of control here. We're not going to get that CBDC, right? We're not going to get that central bank digital currency, but it's going to happen in a roundabout way by regulating stablecoins. It is. I'll tell you what, my goal has been, always will be, get in here and stay ahead of this wave that's coming and get out. Because I don't think I love everything that's happening here. And I imagine a lot of us are probably on the same page there too. Marty Party always with the great content. If you don't follow that guy, he's a must follow. He said 2 years ago, stablecoin volume will go exponential. Makes a lot of sense. Once stablecoin legislation is passed, all consumer-facing commercial payments, including salaries, which would be awesome, will be on stablecoin rails. I love that. The digital dollar will become legal tender in the U.S. That's really the mass adoption event, right? It's stablecoins. It's paying people possibly in stablecoins. Maybe you're going to have that option to get your paycheck in stablecoins. And all of a sudden, people now have exposure to crypto instantly. And there you go, threat to credit cards and point-of-sale intermediaries. The world's changing, man. It's changing right in front of us, and I hope we can be early to picking up where it's changing and where those opportunities are. But, man, it's there. It's happening. Yo, good morning. Thank you for that. Who's that there? I see you, FX. And just above, thank you for the Pangu. Change is coming. It's coming fast, and it's coming furious, and we will be right ahead of all of it.